Welcome to another episode of Becca's Talking. Glad you could join us here today. This episode is brought to you by Simcoe Heating and Air. Simcoe Heating and Air Conditioning with over 35 years of experience. Steve's been in the business for 35 years, family-owned business, great people. I use them myself. I've known them for years, and I've also known that, when you've got this time of year getting ready for the furnace, a lot of people go, the furnace is getting old, so, well, I can make it till summer, and then, next thing you know, winter's here, and you need a new furnace. Give them a call. All right, here's the number to call. 402-679-3602. 402-679-3602. Simcoe Heating and Air Conditioning. The only name you need to know is Simcoe. And joining me right now, I'm excited about this conversation. This is Joan Squires, for those who don't know. Joan is the president of Omaha Performing Arts.
Great to be here, Tom.
And you and I have talked many times, but it was always like when I was doing TV, and I needed an 8-second soundbite.
Exactly.
So this is going to be a great conversation. We'll get into this a little bit more, because as a longtime Omaha resident, I remember the entertainment options before Omaha Performing Arts.
Okay.
They weren't great.
Okay.
You had the Playhouse, which did some great stuff, and then there was some other community theater that was around there. But maybe once a year, a traveling Broadway play would come through. A few concerts here and there. But what you've done with Omaha Performing Arts and how you've made this thing grow is impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. How long have you been in town?
Thank you. I've been in town. I just celebrated 22 years,
wow,
which has been extraordinary. Well, and I will say, when I got here, too, at the Orpheum, we had wonderful local groups, the symphony, the opera, we had a ballet company, lots of stuff. But no, you're right, no touring shows, none of the things that we're bringing today. So it was pretty limited.
And even the symphony, I don't think was doing as many events there because they had to share the Orpheum with a bunch of other people.
Exactly.
And now at the Holland, they've got pretty much free reign of the place, with the exception of when you bring in somebody. So there's a lot more to do. This is not the same Omaha of 22 years ago when you came to town.
Exactly.
How did you end up with Omaha Performing Arts? How did that happen?
Well, they had a recruiter call me, and I was in Phoenix, Arizona at the time, and she said, I have this great job, and I said, where is it? And the thing was, no, let me tell you about the job, and wouldn't tell me right away, but the more I found out and eventually learned it was Omaha, the more I knew I wanted to be part of it, Tom, because there was just such opportunity. The Holland Center was being developed at the time. I knew that people love the arts here, and there was a great opportunity to grow all these programs. So I am thrilled, and 22 years later, here I am.
Did you think when you first took the job, I'll stay for 3 or 4 years, and then I'll move on?
I didn't have a time frame, but I've never stayed anywhere this long. So you want to do good work, and as long as we can continue to affect the community and bring these wonderful artists and shows and education, we've just kept going.
Why are the arts so important?
I think the arts are important for a number of reasons. One is it's the one thing that we can all share together. It's who we are as humans, which sounds a little bit ethereal, but it is who we are, and you can come together and sit in the theater and enjoy something all together. We don't care what you think. We don't care which way you lean. We don't care what kind of day you have. We get a chance to bring these artists on stage, and you all experience it at the same time. So I think it's good for us to come together. It's also good as an outlet and gets people off their devices. They interact with the artist and on the stage, and it helps me. It just changes you.
Here's a tough question: define art.
You know what? There's been philosophers trying to do that for a long time.
So I rescind the question, but that's it. Because when I think about what Omaha Performing Arts brings, whether it be Jazz on the Green, which, by the way, thanks for bringing SRT to town.
You're welcome.
I'm friends with Mitch Town, and John Robinson is just an amazing drummer. So thanks for bringing them to town. But you bring jazz, not only Jazz on the Green, but also I like to the Holland and that. And then you bring in Broadway plays, you bring in comedy, you bring in a lot of other stuff, right? I mean, it's, so how does that all happen? How do you decide what you're bringing to town?
Well, we added Steelhouse to the mix.
Yeah.
So we have the 3 venues now and the Tenasca Center for Arts Engagements coming on. We really are looking at the breadth of artists. First of all, number one is quality. So we want to make sure we're bringing the best of whatever type of music or performance it is to the city. And we want to bring a breadth of experiences. So on any given night, we could have the Orpheum, the Holland, and Steelhouse all operating with 3 very different shows. So there could be some sort of a rock band or a hip-hop group at Steelhouse, a Broadway show at the Orpheum, and the symphony could be at the Holland. So you have a variety of things. So no matter your interest, we've got something really that can appeal to so many ages, demographics, everybody.
I want to get to the Tenasca in a little bit here, but talk about the Steelhouse. I'll admit, when I heard about the Steelhouse, well, there's no seats, and we have, my goodness, we got the CHI Center, we got Mid-America Center, we got Ralston, we got Baxter. What do we need another arena for, you know? So I may have been a little skeptical. But this has been a big hit, hasn't it?
Have you been in it?
I have, not for a show. I went on the tour when you first opened.
Yep.
I've not been able to make it to a show yet, but everybody that I know that has gone to a show there raves about it.
Everybody's raving about it. And it's the experience. First, the acoustics are amazing. The building is completely unique. It was designed for what it does. But it's attracting, we targeted 18 to 45-year-olds, but it's all ages. Everybody loves it. Sometimes we put seats out. So Elvis Costello was there. We had chairs on the floor. Sometimes we put out risers. Often you're standing. I'm usually in the balcony where the fixed seats are. So you could join me up there, Tom.
All right.
But it has been a hit, and it's been really fun to go around the community, and everyone knows about it. I think they just think it's cool and the place they want to go to or return to.
Yeah, it really is. Now, I did mention all these other places, but we've got some more that have joined since then. The Astro just recently opened up. Yep. So you got a lot more competition now than you did when you first started here years ago.
Well, yes and no. Steelhouse is unique, though. You look at that building and the experiences that we're doing for the artists and the audiences, there really isn't anything exactly like it. It's just taking it to another level, and the artists that are there want to come back. They've just had an amazing experience.
Yeah, but even then, though, there may be different artists and all that, but you only have so much entertainment dollars. I can either go and see a play at the Orpheum, or I can go hear a band at the Astro, or I can go to a comedy show at the Funny Bone or wherever, So they've only got so much entertainment dollars. So it's got to be tough, right? To keep things above board.
We've had great success. So I don't know if I can. It's really affected us because we are still selling a lot of tickets in all the venues. The audience has just really expanded. And I've talked to the folks that do have some of the other buildings, even at CHI and stuff. We're all having great years.
Yeah.
It just continues to expand. So it's been wonderful.
The Broadway series. That's been a really big hit, hasn't it?
That's been giant. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What have you got coming up this year?
We've got a great season. It kicks off with Funny Girl here in November. We've got Peter Pan, Clue, but I'm particularly excited about Some Like It Hot, which was on Broadway last year and a big hit. The Tony Award-winning Kimberly Akimbo. But then the hits that I think our audiences may know the most are Hamilton Returns and MJ the Musical about Michael Jackson.
Oh, that'll be
And
good,
that's
yeah.
how we end the season. So it's a spectacular year, and I'm really excited about what's coming.
What Broadway itself is they're going retro, aren't they? I mean, they're going retro because you mentioned a lot of these Some Like It Hot and all that are reboots. I know you've had My Fair Lady has been here and others that I've seen. So they're really everything old is new again on Broadway, right?
Yes and no. We always have had revivals, and Some Like It Hot, although it was based on an old movie, is a brand new musical with brand new music. So, and they've actually updated enough so it's got some contemporary messages in it. So that one's really new, and we like to have a mix because people sometimes want to come back and see a Mamma Mia. Certainly Lion King returns every number of years, and we just had a spectacular run last year of that. And there's more in the works. I go to New York all the time because somebody has to.
Yeah, it's a tough job, yeah.
To see the shows and make sure we're bringing the best of touring Broadway to Omaha.
Did you see the Huey Lewis show when you were over there?
I did.
Was it any good? I'm surprised it closed so soon because on paper, that thing should have lasted a long time.
It should have, and I'm actually sorry it didn't, Tom. I loved it. If it had opened longer, I think it was the result of a very crowded season this year in New York. There just wasn't enough room to get the traction. I had a chance to even meet Huey Lewis backstage, and he was amazing, and we loved the show. So I think we may see it again come back out because it really was quality, and I'm sorry it closed.
I know they talked about making it a touring show. But yeah, I mean, you look at all the hits and the music and that. But you know, you mentioned the MJ show that's coming with the Michael Jackson songs. Was all of this phenomenon bringing back the old rock and roll stars and making them Broadway plays? Was that all brought on by the Four Seasons with when they did Jersey Boys?
Well, actually, I think started a little before then when Mamma Mia started. That was the first what they call a jukebox musical, where it's a story around existing songs. And then Jersey Boys, and there have continued to be successes. There's been some not so successful, but most of the time people love it because they know the music.
Yeah. I mean, like Billy Joel should have been, I think, a bigger success than it was, but you would think with the music, but that one didn't. I mean, it did okay.
It did fine. We had it here and had a pretty good success early on.
Yeah, but it wasn't one of the big hits. So let's talk a little bit about Tenastra. What is Tenastra? I mean, I drive down the street and I across from the park and I see this big building going up, and that's the thing about Omaha now, is that I drive down the street and I'll see something I don't know. Now, what used to be there, and the Holland Center, that used to be the Campbell's plant and everything, and and now the Tenastra building is coming up. What is the Tenastra building?
The Tenasca Center for Arts Engagement is really a space for our education and engagement programs. Because one part of our mission is not just the performances and the amazing venues is the second, but it's the education and engagement with community. So we'll bring in a Broadway show and have master classes for young people. We have a high school theater awards program across the entire state. So the Nebraska Theater Academy celebrates high school musicals, and we send 2 students to New York. We've got musical explorers. We have pre-K program now with Wolf Trap. These programs have expanded so much around the arts, we're out of space. So you come to the Holland Center and there's kids under the stairwells and in the lobbies and everywhere, and we just need more space to reach community. We launched a hip hop lab this summer, and that's going to be one of the camps that will be in the Tenasca Center. So lots of new programs and space for our existing ones.
Is this taking the place of what the schools used to do? Because public schools and many private schools have cut arts out of the program. Whether it be band, whether it be theater, they've cut the arts out. Is this sort of like trying to replace that, or?
Not exactly. We do partner with the schools a lot, and we're fortunate in Nebraska that I think we still have more arts than many places. But it augments that and connects these students and young people to the artists that are coming through. So they get a chance to work with a Broadway star or a jazz artist or an Alvin Ailey master class, whatever it is. Ballet Hispanico is coming, and we'll be able to connect the students to these amazing artists. Those connections wouldn't happen if we didn't bring the artist to town.
That it really is amazing, when you think about the talent that comes through here, and also the talent that's in Omaha. There's so many talented artists here in this town, sure. Whether it be actors, whether it be musicians that are here that don't get the. They don't get the respect, I think, that maybe a lot of them deserve.
Well, that's why we try to feature them. You mentioned Jazz on the Green. So we often have a lot of our local groups. We've been up at Music at Miller Park, or we're down at Canopy South. We're doing local artists. We bring them in for pre-concert activities. We try to feature them and book them in the Holland Music Club. So we do want to lift up our local artists because we think we have some amazing talent here as well. So it's an opportunity to balance both the touring ones and our local folks.
I should know the answer to this, but I don't. You had you have the Holland where you have the bigger hall, and then upstairs you had a smaller like nightclub sort of atmosphere up there. Are you still doing things up there?
Yeah, the Holland Music Club is operating. It's in the Scott Hall at the Holland, and you can come in. You order food. It's sort of like a New York nightclub, and people are learning to trust that even if they don't know the group, they're going to have an amazing time.
Yeah, is that primarily jazz and stuff, or what is it?
Jazz, blues, jazz-ish. So a little bit of everything, and it's pretty good variety in there.
I want to talk about the economic impact for the city and that, but speaking about economic impact, podcast is brought to you by Simcoe. The only name you need to know, heating and air conditioning, 402-679-3602. Get your furnace tuned tuned up for the winter months, or maybe need a new furnace. Got a problem? Hey, Steve can take care of it. Been in business for 35 years, family-owned business. It's just good people, and they'll treat you right. Simcoe, 402-679-3602, the only name you need to know. So, economic impact for the city. I mean, it's nice that we've got the plays and the concerts and all that. That's all nice. But it's really more than that, isn't it?
It's much more than that. And I'm so appreciative that first of all, you asked the question and that people are starting to recognize it, Tom. We provide $61 million in annual economic impact, and that does not include the Tenaska Center when that comes online. We're having people come in from all regions. In fact, 50% of our folks that come to our shows are outside Douglas County, and 20% are outside the state. We economic impact with jobs, the restaurants, the parking. We help attract and retain a workforce. And I think arts and culture really make a difference for our quality of life.
Oh, right. I mean, I figured that, they came from Douglas, Sarpy County, Pottawatomie County and that. But you're saying like people come from
They come from Kansas. They come from South Dakota. They come from certainly Iowa, from over the river. And they're really coming in the shows. Steelhouse, in fact, is having people from Texas and Minnesota, and they're flying in to see some of the artists that we've had there, which has been great. And they'll wait in line all day around the building till we open.
Here's my gripe about Steelhouse.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. You bring in these bands, and I have no idea who the hell they are. Now, I used to be hip. I used to know these things. I used to know who the hot bands were, right? And now my niece goes, we're going to Steelhouse. Oh, yeah, who's playing? And she gives me some name, and I go, oh, yeah, I love their stuff. And that's it. I mean, so you're talking about a whole different generation here of people that are coming into Omaha and experiencing it, which I think also gives them an opportunity when they're coming in from out of town to realize just what Omaha is. Yes. Last night, I just happened to have an opportunity. I was talking with a flight attendant that was in town the first time here, and she was amazed. She had been down to the park. She'd been down to the park. She didn't see what was going on. She was staying at the hotel there on 18th and Farnham, and it was on the rooftop bar. And it was just a real nice conversation about somebody from L.A. that really had that attitude of like, Omaha.
Right.
And then sees what's happening here, and it's like, Omaha. Yeah, which is always nice to see. So you've got the economic impact. You've got all of this. You've got the Tenaska Center. Is there anything else? What else haven't you done yet that you want to do?
We're continuing to work. Look, we always look forward. I tell people when they work for us, you have to like change because we want to keep evolving and make sure we're continuing to serve the community. At the moment, we're focused on opening Tenaska Center. So, and then as we get that up and running, we'll see what else we can do and that makes the community better because that's at the end of all of this. We want to make sure it's an improvement for Omaha and the people who live here. It's all about the community.
Have you thought about opening up facilities further west? Because everything right now is pretty much in downtown, whether it be the Holland, Tenaska, the Orpheum, and that. Have you thought about maybe?
Well, people have asked us about. We really haven't considered that yet because right now it's about activating all the investment. But I think, Tom, it's also a testament to this city is the support we get from the philanthropic community because none of this is possible without the amazing donors and philanthropists that have given to our organization and many others.
People don't realize that they haven't lived in other places. They don't realize just how phenomenal the philanthropic community is in this town.
Yep. I had a group here this week actually from Orlando who came up to see the riverfront revitalization and all the new parks, which are extraordinary. Our buildings, they wanted to take a look at that because as they start to look at projects in downtown Orlando, how can they take care of their city beyond tourism? They're using Omaha as a model, and it was great.
It's kind of funny you say that because I was working I'd worked at KFAB and had an opportunity to go to Kansas City. And while I was at KFAB, we were talking about building at the time the Quest Center and the Convention Center and everything and talk about downtown redevelopment and all this stuff. And then I went to Kansas City. And I'm down in Kansas City. I come up to visit and everything, and I would just see the changes happening here and realize, no, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of Omaha and its growth and all the things that it has. Because, like I said, the philanthropic community in Kansas City, ain't a third of what it is up here.
No, and it's split up in the three downtowns down there. They have some nice things and wonderful buildings, but it's different here. You come here and there's an energy. We're activating it. The people are out and they're enjoying it, and I think it's a really special place. So where we started my 22 years here, that's why this city is really terrific.
It really is, and Omaha Performing Arts is one of the things that makes it terrific. Whether it be the Broadway plays, whether it be dancing, whether it be comedy, and that's the thing too. As a guy that did stand-up comedy, comedy isn't often considered to be an art with a lot of people.
It is an art.
It's a definite art.
I see how hard everybody works there.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of it in Steelhouse. We knew we'd do a little bit, but I don't know if you've watched. We've had a lot of comedians through there and had amazing ticket sales for it. So it's been great.
Yeah. Do you have seats for the comedy?
We usually have seats for the comedy. So you're in good shape, Tom.
All right, I'm old. I can't stand that long. I'm old now. Yeah. I used to be the guy at the front of the concert. Yeah. And now it's like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's probably time. Bruce, can you wrap it up? I got to go. I got things I got to do. So, all right, so good. Really, and if people want to find out more about your itinerary and stuff, the concerts, the website is
ticketomaha.org, or they can go to steelhouseomaha.com. So,
all right. So it's like, is Steelhouse pretty much its own entity?
Steelhouse is yes and no. Our ticket office at Ticket Omaha, we can sell tickets for Steelhouse if we need to, but if they want to get information, it's really best to go on steelhouseomaha.com.
Okay, steelhouseomaha.com.
And ticketomaha.com.
Ticketomaha.com for everything else and that. Joan, I want to thank you. I've been looking forward to this because I've been a big fan of what you guys have done, and the plays, the concerts, the events, and just what I've seen what Omaha Performing Arts has done for the community, and it really has made a difference because, like I said, 22 years ago. 22 years ago, they were actually talking about tearing down the Orpheum.
Yeah.
People find that hard to believe now, but there was a time here when they were talking about tearing down the Orpheum, tearing down the museum.
The Civic.
The Civic they did tear down.
They did tear down.
But they were going to tear down the Western Heritage Museum. Yeah. The old train station, and they were going to tear all that down. And thank God they didn't.
It's beloved, and it makes the community really special. So I know I see you at all of our shows, so I look forward to seeing you.
I do a bunch of them. Yes, I look forward to going to some more. So, all right. Anyway, Joan, thank you very much. And again, go to those websites. Go treat yourself. Go see a play, a concert, an event. Something like this. Some are free, like Jazz on the Green. Others are very reasonably priced. Go and treat yourself because the arts. You mentioned something earlier. You go to one of these shows, and we talk about how divided we are. But you go to one of these concerts.
We bring everybody together.
And everybody's like, well, yeah, oh, you like that candidate, I like this candidate. Oh, but you like that song, I like that song. It does. It brings people together, and it is a form of community.
It is, and we are for everybody. We really reach across the entire city, and we want people to feel welcome no matter who they are. Yeah.
Is there any kind of an act you wouldn't bring?
I'd have to think about that.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about all the different stuff that does come,
Yeah, no, we believe in freedom of expression, and artists have the right to do that. I'd have to think about it, but we really do present a wide variety. So it's been great. People should come down. All right. Anyway, check it out. And thank you to Steve and everybody at Simcoe. Simcoe, the only name you need to know for heating and air conditioning, 402-679-3602, 402-679-3602. Make sure you join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. A new podcast pops up. We have a wide variety of guests here, a little bit of everything, and that's what I find so interesting is we got so many different people here and people that you might not have a chance to meet in your everyday life. So make sure you spread the word, tell your friends about Becca's Talking here at WWT.com and also on a podcast platform near you. I'd get it out there one way or the other. Take care. We'll talk to you next time.